That's what I get for taking girl charming advice from a creepy long-haired man who can't even speak proper English. Oh hey everyone, I know exactly what you're all thinking. Watcher, what's with the new room? Well, I just turned 18 and my mother started me off in this apartment closer to the college I'm gonna go to, which is weird since I haven't graduated yet. Oh well, I live here now. Anyway, let's see what I'm gonna review today. Oh, it's this movie. Cool. The age of computer animation started in the mid-90s with Pixar's film Toy Story and shows like Reboot. It was a new technology, and with the success of Toy Story, CG animation caught on. At the same time, Dexter's Laboratory arguably was the series that launched what could be described as the new era of cartoons that I believe lasted until 2007, when Jim Samples, the original president of Cartoon Network, resigned. Since CG animation was taking off with Pixar and soon following DreamWorks, Nickelodeon decided to join the fray by combining CG animation with the boy genius archetype that Dexter's Lab repopularized. In 2001, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius was released in theaters. Most people who are familiar with this character recognize him from the spin-off series, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. But it seems many people forgot the movie that started it all. Let's revisit this movie and see if there really was something that could be made into a series here. Well actually, before we start, I do want to point out in 1998 the pilot of the series, Runaway Rocket Boy, was made and it contains many of the same plot points and jokes as the movie. I only point this out so someone won't later. It's basically a less complete version of the film. So the movie starts in an army base, which sends some pilot fighters to find a UFO. Instead of using this to set up some alien invasion, it's used to give Jimmy his establishing character moment. He has a rocket ship and flies with his large best friend Carl and his robot dog Goddard, with the goal of communicating with extraterrestrials. We're introduced to Jimmy using his powers of thinking. And they succeed in getting out the message. Jimmy lands back home to get reprimanded by his stern mother and his cuckoo father, mainly because his actions are unsafe and cause a lot of collateral damage. Makes sense, I suppose. Wait, no, it doesn't, because the part that they're most angry about is that he tried to talk to strangers.
Jimmy, we've repeatedly told you not to talk to strangers.
Oh, but Mom, I'm on the verge of contact with an advanced alien civilization.
Which is already not a good lesson to teach kids, tends to make them exclude people and stunts social skill building, but whatever. So Jimmy gets ready for school in a creative sequence. He misses his bus and decides to chase it with a bubblegum bouncing ball. While we see the cool inventions the writers made for the movie, we also get introduced to token black girl Libby and Cindy Vortex, or as I like to call her, Cindere. Cindy's a girl who dislikes Jimmy because he's too smart for her pride. Shortly after Jimmy embarrasses himself, he gets in an argument with Cindy. An argument that makes me want to get my ears sewn shut.
After class, I'll be happy to demonstrate how boy dinosaurs got their butts kicked by girl dinosaurs on a regular basis.
Excuse me, but the mandible crest of Cindy's alleged plesiosaur is actually that of a male megalosaur as defined by last week's World Congress of Paleontologists.
Those findings were inconclusive and you know it, Neutron.
Hello?
I don't know what it is about Debbie Derryberry doing Jimmy's voice in this movie, but it's a bit more annoying than in the show, which sounded more controlled and less piercing because it was lower pitched. I suppose it was still finding its sound here, but it gets a little annoying. We're also introduced to Sheen, Jimmy's Hispanic other friend obsessed with a superhero named Ultralord. I just enjoy his cuckoo-ness on screen, and of course he's much more prevalent in the series. The movie does get points by not making jokes about racial stereotypes, just his geekiness. Then the pretty bad boy character Nick appears. I hate Nick. He represents that kid I wanted to punch in elementary school.
You are a tad tardy again!
Oh my, am I? Yeah, it took me a little while to copy my mom's handwriting for this late note.
And middle school.
Your show and tell, please.
How's it going? You know, I don't really do show and tell.
And high school.
Thank you, Nick!
Oops.
Did you drop this?
Yes, well my drop pencil.
Sorry, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Jimmy's part bird teacher, Miss Fowl, calls on him to show and tell. He's showing off his shrink ray. Ha, I remember show and tell. There was this one time I brought a creepy plastic skull in just to mess with my classmates. I got sent to the principal's office. Anyway, the shrink ray doesn't work until it's used for this gag.
Oh my! Oh, hello.
Nice, that's pretty funny. So the boys go on a sad walk and want to go to opening night at their local theme park, Retroland, and Nick tells them to sneak out. Also, despite how he's a bad boy, he still wears the helmet. Be safe, kids! So the boys try to convince their parents to let them out on a school night. I wonder if the plot is gonna make them sneak out. Jimmy flies home with his jetpack. I do like how in this movie at least, Jimmy's inventions are not the focus, but rather the characters are, and the inventions are just part of the story. It differs from Dexter's Lab like that, though Dexter's Lab has the benefit of being far funnier. So Jimmy goes to get some cola and oysters to make a diamond and a pearl necklace to ask his mom to go to the amusement park. Jimmy also has Goddard do tricks like play dead.
Play dead? Mental note. Fix bug in obedience program.
It's funny because violence. We also see Jimmy's lab, which has cool inventions like a girl-eating plant or a soda that makes you belch with each sip. And he goes to check the signal he sent out to aliens, but there's no response.
You know there's still...
So, Jimmy's bribing predictably fails, and he accidentally sets fire to his curtains and is prohibited from going out. This movie is way more a drama than a comedy right now. I need something more amusing. Here's Jimmy covering his mom with fire extinguisher foam.
Okay, Jimmy.
I was about to get excited and make some piggish comment, but wow, that CG looks bad. The entire movie was made on software that cost a couple $100, so it's basically an animated B-movie, and its entire cast is just a bunch of television voice actors, the biggest probably being Rob Paulsen. According to IMDb, this movie cost $25 million to produce. If marketing costs like $20 million, where did the rest of the budget go? Oh, Patrick Stewart and Martin Short are the villains, King Goobot and Ooplar. So, in the establishing scene of the villain, King Goobot, he's played to such cartoonish levels of evil, it's hilarious.
He loves his little off guard. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Tell me, when did it become acceptable to approach my royal throne unannounced?
Oh, yes, of course, my king.
Space
I
him!
assure you that it would. But he.
This guy's a worse boss than Freezer or Shendu. We also meet his incompetent assistant, Ooplar.
It's all right. I'll handle this. Hello. What galaxy are you from?
Oobla!
Where is your leader?
Oobla! Stop it. It's toast.
Oh. Hello, Toast. I greatly admire your ship. Ah!
I'm gonna go out and say these are some pretty great and memorable villains. So, Goobot watches Jimmy's message and decides that the parents look delicious, and sends his fleet to Earth. Jimmy gets a talk from his dad. A very bizarre talk.
And you just can't go around playing with big people, fiery, flying things. Because that's what rockets are. Rockets are flying things. Well, I hope this talk has helped. Oh, and by the way, Mom says you're grounded. Sorry!
Jimmy decides to sneak out with his shrink ray, and he goes to have fun with Carl and Sheen at Retroland. Also, Nick mentioned that everyone who matters is gonna be there. And we don't see any of Jimmy's classmates. Maybe when Nick said that, he meant only himself. We cut back home where Goddard is covering for the missing Jimmy, and we see a pretty touching scene with Jimmy's parents, followed by aliens invading Earth overnight and Jimmy's dad having a perfectly rational reaction to seeing an alien.
You're not Jimmy!
So the whole town, or the whole world's parents get kidnapped. I don't know because the movie doesn't make it very clear. Jimmy and his friends see some of the ships and confuse them for shooting stars, so they wish for no parents. What? Dramatic irony in a kid's film? How dare they? Animation can never ever be held to the same standard as real movies. So the kids wake up and celebrate that their parents are gone with a party montage set to Blitzkrieg Bop. Pretty nice sequence. Eventually, Jimmy gets hung over on ice cream. So a news report shows that the kids are missing their parents, Jimmy included. Jimmy deduces his parents were kidnapped by aliens, and with the aid of the rest of the children, builds a fleet from the rides at Retroland.
And as you can see, they lead to somewhere in the Orion star system approximately 3 million light years away.
Oh. Good luck getting that far? Also, the children can breathe in space. So, Jimmy and Tsundere flirt a little, and they fly through space until Attack of the Asteroids! They eventually camp on one of the asteroids, thinking about their parents while Jimmy discusses his own shortcomings and girls.
What girl wants to dance with a guy who looks like he should still be in Gymboree, huh?
I didn't think we liked girls yet, Jim.
Oh, we don't, no.
Oh, okay.
Not yet, no. However, one day, Carl, an influx of hormones that we can't control will overpower our better judgment and drive us to pursue the female species against our will.
Stop talking like that, Jimmy!
I feel ya, man. Also, Jimmy, you're gonna hate being a teenager. So the kids keep riding for what I presume is a day until they find the alien planet, and... Oh god, I gotta call this out. I hate this soundtrack. Do we really need all this pop music? Can't we use more instrumental pieces? Wait, are those kids singing about being the kids of America? So Jimmy sees the parents being mind-controlled, and then the kids of America are captured and brought before King Goobot, who turns everyone against Jimmy when he reveals Jimmy is the reason they found Earth to begin with. Goobot tells the children he plans to sacrifice their parents to his chicken god, Poltra. Jimmy reaches his lowest point and Cinderella gives him a pep talk. Jimmy has Goddard trick Oobla and bust the kids out.
Hey, Cindy. Thanks. If you ever tell anyone I was nice to you, you'll wind up looking like that guy.
Ah, that's cute and stupid. The Yokians bring the enslaved parents to a stadium to sacrifice them, but first... Huh, not only do the aliens speak English, but they are aware of our chicken dances. Maybe we got it from them. So Nick charges in and runs screaming when Poltra hatches. Wait, the Yokians worship that thing? But they can easily subdue it with their weaponry. Why is this advanced civilization still sacrificing to a mindless creature they can control?
Stop them!
Dude, Goobot just gave an order to his god. What kind of a religion is this? So the kids go to rescue their parents and they manage to get away from Poltra while having an action scene that is, pretty brutal for a G-rated movie. Dang, look at that violence. It makes me recall before. Wait, hold on. Hey, King Goobot, what's an uncharged subatomic particle called? Thanks, bro. The climax of this film starts when Goobot sends his fleet after Jimmy, who flies near a star, which burns up all of Goobot's fleet but him. This guy's gotta be the most failed military commander ever. But despite the massive damage he just did to his own military, the king pins down Jimmy and does his Star Trek style taunt of him.
Incoming message! On screen!
You see, Jimmy, you can't win. All of your friends and family would be safe at home if it wasn't for one little problem. You.
By the way, riders, nice meta joke. Jimmy has had enough of being called small, so he rides Goddard and charges directly into Goobot. He uses his shrink ray to supersize himself. Jimmy saves the day, and everyone is happily reunited with their parents. Back at home, the Neutron family enjoys Jimmy's soda. And that's the end of the movie. Overview time. Characterization in this film is quite nice. All the children act like children, which is a big plus for me, and there's a lot of heart in this story. We do care about the characters enough to want them to succeed. When they're angry, we feel them being angry. When they're sad, we feel them being sad. The comedy is, for the most part, not well-aged for adults, but it has its moments. Mainly because the script is very tight and most things that are set up are paid off.
This is my inhaler.
I can't see! I can't see!
Let's see how the girl-eating plant is doing.
Before my mom was inducted by aliens, she would rub my tummy and she'd sing.
What?
Nothing.
The voice acting is not my favorite. It does improve by the time the series comes on, but a lot of the voice acting is just kind of annoying in this movie. I do enjoy the two villains, however. The film also benefits from a strong emotional core. Because we care about the characters and we have a main conflict with some sentimental weight and plenty of heartwarming moments along the way, Jimmy Neutron actually works as a drama much more than a comedy. It's a movie that focuses on its main characters, so most of the other kids are just kind of there in the film. I do enjoy the inventions of the movie, especially since the film isn't overly exploitative with them. Overall, the movie is quite creative. Where the film feels lacking is definitely its production value. It looks more like it's supposed to be a made-for-TV movie instead of a theatrical release. It looks more dated than the first Toy Story movie. And compared to the other animated films that were nominated for Oscars, which were Shrek and Monsters, Inc., it definitely looks cheaper and is not as well written. I also kind of object to the idea that we should submit to parent authority like this film conveys. At least I think it did.
Mom, Dad, I should have listened to you when you said don't talk to strangers. See, I guess I thought I was smart enough to do everything on my own. That I didn't need you. But I was wrong.
But to conclude, the film is well written with enough emotion to work. However, the big question remains, is there enough in here to power and sustain a spin-off series? We'll have to find out some other time. See you around!